guys, welcome to my channel. For those who don't know me, I'm Jazz. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like my videos, and leave me a comment if you would like. Today I want to talk about how amazing it is to see all these different transgendered people, women on TV and, coming up and everywhere, and all these other transgendered people. It's so amazing to see, because when I started, there was no one like myself, no one like myself. I felt confused, alone, scared. I remember my foster parents used to send me to all these different gay groups. And I remember I used to sit in these gay groups thinking, this is not who I am. I don't think I'm not gay. They just didn't understand what I was, and there was nowhere I didn't know there was a name, and nobody at that time knew there was a name for someone like myself. They just thought I was gay, just like to dress in women's clothing. They just didn't understand. And school was really hard because, I had friends, and when I started to be who I was, the real me, I lost a lot of friends, and people were calling me horrible names like fudge packer, he, she, because they just didn't quite understand me, and it was just a lonely, scary time. I remember there was something, I can't remember what it was that was going on at that time, but you had to go sit with your class in the assembly room. And I remember I went down into the assembly room and all the kids were sitting with their class, and none of the kids wanted to sit next to me in my class. I was sitting on this big, long bench all by myself, and no one wanted to sit next to me, nobody. And I remember I looked around, and I was so embarrassed. I got up and left. I was so sad. It was a sad, lonely time. And, I just didn't have any friends to talk to. There was no one around to talk to, because there was no one like me, and people didn't understand, and I just kept on going despite how horrible and mean the kids were. I remember the kids used to get on the train and be calling me all kinds of names in front of people on the train, and it was just so horrible. But I wasn't gonna give up who I was. I kept on fighting, kept on struggling, kept on going, and I just didn't give up. And it wasn't until about 4 years after that they found me a place that deal with sex change and identity crisis and all that. And I remember when I first went there, one of the doctors there was transgendered, and I was like, oh my God, finally there's someone like myself. Oh my God, finally. So I thought she was just gonna be so understanding. I'm gonna have a sex change and everything's just gonna be all perfect. But it wasn't like that, It was more like an experiment. Like, they would ask you all these different questions, like, do you masturbate? What do you think of when you masturbate? Are you into girls? Are you into guys? You ever had sex with a girl? And all these questions. And I was just like, wow. So after like 2-3 day session, the transgender doctor said they brought me into the room with the other doctors, and they're like, you're just not ready. You're going to change your mind. You don't want to be a woman. And I thought, well, you think she would be understanding of, her being transgender, but she wasn't that understanding. And I remember I left feeling like, wow, made me sad, and I was so disappointed, but I kept on going, and I was doing a photo shoot for a magazine, because I was into modeling and stuff. And I remember the man who was she was a transgender man, said, you know what? I have a doctor who, he's really good and he can help you when, he can start your hormones if you're interested in stuff. And I was like, oh, well, that's nice. I would love to, you know, and I went to him and he was so nice and, he started with me on hormones and stuff. And I was so happy. And I remember when I started growing breasts, I was like, oh my God, I'm growing breasts. I felt so happy that finally things are starting to move. And at that time, the government stopped funding for people to have sex change. So, I didn't think about it after that, you know. And at that time, I started seeing, transgendered people coming up. Not as much as how it is now, but I would see transgendered people coming up, especially in care. And I remember when, Transgendered called me and said, you know what, we would like you to meet this person who, is struggling and, got kicked out because, their parents did not approve of them wanting to be a woman. And I remember I sat and I talked to her because I understand what she was going through, and, being so alone. And I was talking to her and we became friends. And, it made me feel good that Jonas, called me because I was the only person they knew who was transgendered at the time. So I felt so good to help this person. And I understood. Remember, I was talking to her and she's like, her parents are Italian and they're Catholic and, they just don't understand her want to be a woman. And I remember I just sat with her and I talked with her and, and I said, you know what? I understand how you're feeling being alone, but you don't have to be alone. You can talk to me at any time. And we started talking and became friends after that. It's for those who don't know, it's a very lonely time. And, a lot of people try to commit suicide and there, it's a scary, lonely time, Now it's a little bit better because now you've got so many transgendered people out there and so many transgendered people who are actually wanting to help, and there's different places for transgendered people to go to talk to someone and get help, and and don't have to be alone. It's just so nice to see that all these different organizations and all these different people who are out there being trans and being strong. And I'm glad I kept on going and I didn't give up being who I was despite, the struggles, with my foster brothers, because I lived in a home where there was all boys. And, it was just, it was hard. It was hard, but, I overcome all that and, I'm so happy. I'm me, I get to be me. If you're going through situations where, you are the only one around somewhere in a small town and, don't give up. Keep being strong. Don't let those people stop you from being who you are. Don't stop being you. It's going to get better. It really is going to get better, and I'm just so happy to see so many transgender people out there, fighting, fighting for the next group of people for it to be easier for them. I'm so glad. And, I'm also happy that I was one of the first people, in my little group around in Children's Aid and, around who started to speak out about what it's like. And, I'm just so proud to see how things are going. And, so many of us are out there and, we're not hiding and we're not, sick people. I remember people used to say, oh, you're sick. You're sick. We're not sick. There's nothing wrong with us. We are human beings. We have feelings. We hurt. We feel pain, So it's just so wonderful to see now. And, we're not going to mention Kathleen Jenner, okay? Because, I know a lot of people are like, oh, look at her. But, what has she done? I didn't mean to start talking about I don't know, but what has she done to help the transgender community? There's so many other people out there whose names people don't know, who are not famous, and the only reason why people have her up there is because she's famous and from that's the only reason, because she hasn't done anything for the community, and and there's so many other people out there behind the scenes, so many transgender people out there behind the scenes who are helping and fighting, and who've struggled and gone through situations, fighting, and she doesn't deserve all that, because there are so many other people who deserve so much more, who don't get the recognition that they should. But because she's famous, that's the reason why. But there's so many other transgendered people out there, And it's nice to see, you got transgendered actors and producers and directors and writers and stuff just doing their thing. And you know what? I am so happy and so proud to see how far we've come. We still need to go a lot more ways, but, compared to when I started, oh my God, looking back, wow, it was I'm telling you, especially high school was tough, tough and hard, but, I said, what, if I have to lose people, friends, if I have to, not have people talk to me, that's okay. I'm just going to keep being me, and it's hard and tough, and but we're out there, and I'm so glad that the generation that came after me, and not that I'm that old, but the generation that are coming up, it's not going to be as hard for them, because there's places to go, and they see people like themselves on TV, which is nice. So I'm very happy that that's moving. We still need more ways to go, and I just wanted to come on and talk about that what, we are out there, and we're not freaks, and and we are people, with feelings, and it hurts me when I see people leave comments sometimes about people who are transgendered, like, oh, they're freaks and you don't know who you are. I know who I am, and I'm very happy with who I am, So I just keep on going and keep on staying strong, and I'm just happy that things are moving, and we're out there and we're fighting, and we're visible. We're everywhere now. We're not just people see going to like magazine stores, like those nudie magazine stores, see all those, but we are actually out there doing regular things, And so I'm just so happy and proud of all of us, Thank you so much for watching. Bye. I love you.